everyone, I'm Adam.
And I'm Dennis, and we're the hosts of Movie Toast News and Reviews.
Do you ever wonder if it's worth your time watching a new movie or a classic?
Do you hate when people talk about movie news you've never even heard of?
Stop worrying, because we got you covered.
Every Sunday on Twitch, we talk about our favorite movie news from the previous week.
Every Thursday, we drop a review podcast covering classics to new releases.
And our YouTube page has tons of buttery crumbs that we can't fit anywhere else.
So come check us out at movie_toast on Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit.
And at Movie Toast News and Reviews on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook.
With no further ado, enjoy the podcast that we just interrupted.
Today we're looking at Frosty the Snowman, a 1969 animated Christmas television special produced by Rankin-based Productions. The special first aired on December 7, 1969 on the CBS television network and has aired annually for the network's Christmas and holiday season every year since. The story follows a group of schoolchildren who build a snowman called Frosty and place a magic hat on his head, which makes him come to life with enchanted powers.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Christmas and Chill podcast. We're technically recording this the morning after recording the Santa Claus. So if you've listened to yesterday's episode, good morning. How are we? We're here with Luke and Amy today. Maddie is off at work. Sucks to be her. How are we this evening, guys? Well, this morning. Never said that. How are we this morning, guys?
We're feeling good this morning. We've had some breakfast. We've had some Macca's breakfast.
Uber Eats let us down.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm going to have an Uber rant. If you're listening to us, Bakery Hill McDonald's in Ballarat, why... So, like, Uber, it shouldn't be that hard. McDonald's is fast food, right? So, like, you place the order... And then apparently you have to wait 45 minutes before the driver even picks it up. What is happening?
That's false advertising, and I think that Uber needs to clean up their act, to be honest.
I would say it's not very Christmassy.
No.
It's not Christmassy at all.
Uber, I feel like you should, one, sponsor this show, and two...
Yeah, if you sponsor the show, we'll say nice things about you. But
all
at the
be
moment,
forgiven.
we're not very happy.
We're not. You're on our naughty list, Uber. This morning, guys, we watched the third and final TV special on our list. We watched Frosty the Snowman. Let's grab some initial thoughts. What do we think of it so far?
I'm going to let you guys go because this is my final pick.
Amy,
for
what do
this
you
series,
think?
So.
I thought it was pretty good. Like it was. I feel like we all got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah. Whether those laughs were for the right reasons or not.
Although I do feel like we did kind of shit on it a little bit. Maybe that's why we were laughing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't mind it. I don't think it was bad. I enjoyed it more than Charlie Brown.
Yes, me too.
But I think because we're all in the same room, we're chatting and we're not actually like watching the movie by ourselves. I think that has a different like.
But then I even feel like even if we watched Charlie Brown together, I feel like that wouldn't have changed anything.
I think that I can definitely see that if I watched this movie alone, I still would have picked up on the exact same things that we picked up on
of course.
during the movie, as in like I would have laughed at that, that joke and that thing not making sense. That would have been funny regardless, I think. But I know what you mean. It is more enjoyable when you're with company. What did you think of it, Luke?
This is a very nostalgic piece of media for me. Mum watches this every year. A lot of the picks that I've chosen throughout the series have been more so something that my mum has said, hey, we watched this over Christmas, and I have very fond memories as a kid. I really enjoyed it. Looking back though, it's just pure nostalgia. I don't think it's going to be something that I would praise. I wouldn't go up to someone and say, hey, you should watch this.
Yeah, right.
It's something that I think I would watch every Christmas, but I wouldn't suggest to other people.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look.
What do you think about it, Josh?
Well, yeah, I think it was I enjoyed it. but it was fun. It was fun,
Yeah.
I think, because I was able to pick up on small inconsistencies and have a laugh about those.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Like it's definitely something I think kids would enjoy watching. It's harmless. It's fun, and I guess that's its target audience. Is
And
kids.
also, it kind of follows Frosty the Snowman song too.
Correct.
Like it's almost like the music video.
I was going to ask, did the song come out before the
The
movie?
song came out in 1951 and this
So before
came out
then.
in 64.
Okay,
So
there you go.
this would have been a very similar way to what they did with The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It's the basis of something and then they just built on it because, you know.
Yeah. So that's, yeah. So, yeah, you're right, Amy. It is kind of like the music video, I guess. There was no dance scenes, but that's okay.
They were singing together.
There was singing. There was definitely singing in this movie.
Even Frosty sang.
Let's talk about Frosty for a moment. The big New Jersey Bosty.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, it was... He sounded like... and I cannot remember for the life of me the person he's ripping off, but in The Simpsons, Mr. Burns has a son who tries to sell lots of merchandise things. Oh, geez. It's very much that kind of Boston accent. What did you guys think of Frosty? Was he a lovable character?
Yeah, I thought his voice was... I thought it worked, especially for the type of show that it was. All the voices were kind of the same in the way that, like, their accents were very similar. But with Frosty having, like, kind of that deeper voice that, you know, he's a bit of a bigger boy.
Big boy?
Yeah.
Big boy Bosty?
Yeah, big boy Frosty. And the fact that he was a bit bigger and a bit, you know, missing of a brain, I think it kind of worked for his character,
Yeah.
having that voice. And whenever I hear him say happy birthday, I kind of just want to have that as
Why
a
does he
kid.
say happy birthday? Because he's born? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Because I
It's
was
his
very confused by that. I was like,
it's because he's literally born and it's his birthday. So he says happy birthday.
but how
So
many people
he's
when how many
narcissistic
babies
then.
come out of the womb just like, happy
Happy
birthday?
birthday!
Yeah, but Frosty is sentient and is a man.
He's a man. He's a
Yeah, so
snowman.
really,
Yeah, he's a
he's
snowman.
up himself, like
Yeah.
wishing
he's not
himself
Frosty the
happy
snow
birthday.
child.
What do you think, Amy? What do you think of Frosty?
I think he's not too bad. I mean, he's. I feel like the way he looks matches the way he acts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, very true.
He kind of looks like a nice snowman, and he acts like a nice snowman. So
He sounds like a nice
To be
snowman,
fair,
too.
when he wasn't alive, I thought he looked evil as shit.
yes, he did.
I was like,
those
he's going
eyes
to
and
kill
stuff.
those
You know-
children.
You know why? Because he's got eyes made out of coal.
Yeah, that's terrible. He looked where they're behind the furnace. And
Yeah, but that Frosty is purely evil.
I also want to talk about the magician.
I love it.
from
Oh
Frosty.
god, he's weird. He's
What do
really
we-
funny.
What do we think of the magician? Like, I guess he's the bad guy in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, does he feel like a proper bad guy, or is he just like a bit of a loser?
No, he's the comic relief. He's that comic relief that you need in those type of shows because you need to have some sort of antagonist
Yeah.
of some sort when it's something like that where he's kind of like he's a bad magician and yet his hat is magical. It's like, well,
Yeah, can I
obviously
ask-
you don't deserve that.
That's exactly what I was about to ask. Why is his hat magical? Was this ever explained?
Because it is.
No, I don't think it ever was.
No, it's not explained, but it just is.
Okay, I guess since Amy, what do you think of the magician?
Well, I think he's shit. Like he doesn't do well.
Think
One, he's
nasty. Think nasty.
he's not like he's not a very good magician. Like he didn't even know his hat was magic until he put it on a snowman. Like, shouldn't you know that already?
Yeah, you feel like that's an important bit of information. you should
Admittedly,
have.
though, he did have a rabbit come out of the hat at some point. And that wasn't explained. So, I don't know. Maybe the rabbit is
Full
magic?
pack.
And also, it's like going on the train made him really tanned. Like
Yeah.
he went from being like white, without sounding racist, but he went from being white and then he was like orange.
Yeah.
Near the end.
For someone in a sub-zero climate, he's definitely got a decent tan going on by the end of the film.
I feel sorry for... The one I feel sorry for is the policeman who swallows his whistle. And I'm just like, you're gonna have to get surgery to get that out, bud. Unless you want a voice box or a CLA.
One thing I kept saying throughout the movie was that a lot of the sound effects were super zany and reminded me of like children's video games. Like I remember playing putt-putt as a kid on a computer.
Yeah.
And those boing, like those really boop boop. Boing, wing.
Lots of crashes.
Yeah, and they use it lots of times throughout the movie.
But that happens in a lot of like comedy, like if comedy slapstick.
That's true.
Yeah,
but they used it in Fred Claus.
Yeah, admittedly in Fred Claus it's not good.
Yeah.
But in other like mediums and other like types of slapstick comedy, like it's kind of comic where it's wham pow, like it's got sort of it adds texture to the. Yeah. Because it would sound kind of weird if you just rumbling through. It would sound like it's...
That's true.
But I also almost feel like it was used too much. Like at one point, I can't remember what point it was, but they were doing something. It was just like constant sound. It's like...
Was it the tickets?
Whoa.
Yeah. He was doing the tickets? Yeah. I was like, what is happening here?
But the thing is, though, this was made in the 60s, so they probably didn't have like a vast library of... Yeah. Because it's a TV special. Like it's not going to be... It's going to cost... a bit of money, but they're not going to put too much time into it. So it's probably just reusing old...
Yeah. Comparing to the other Christmas TV specials, so Charlie Brown and the Grinch, how Christmassy is this one? Does it feel more or less Christmassy than Charlie Brown and the Grinch?
I'm going to be a little controversial. I thought Charlie Brown had more Christmas in it.
I was actually just going to say the same thing. I feel like Christmas wasn't even referenced in this.
Except for Santa.
Yes, oh yeah. Well, Santa did appear, but like even for their Christmas party, they had a magician. Like when you get a Santa in for your Christmas party.
That's a good point.
So the question I would have then is, why in the song do they not reference Christmas or the time of Christmas? I understand that like it's snow and you have snowmen and snow fights.
Does it have to be a specifically Christmas?
But no, like a lot of the other songs though, like...
Well, is it because like he's obviously called... I mean, this could be like way off, but he's called Frosty, right? And then we saw Jack Frost last night.
As the start of the Christmas season. Yeah. So maybe that's a really American thing. Maybe Jack Frost and Santa is a...
That could have made the movie so much better last night if he was actually a snowman and wanted to take
over. If
Frosty
wanted to take over.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic. I would have been down for that.
Yeah, I would have also gotten on board with Frosty having
Frosty wanting to be Santa because he's outshunned. Oh, man. That would have been great.
Frosty's made a couple of appearances now, I guess.
Kind of.
Christmas with the... actually two. I can only think of Christmas with the Cranks. But that's the only other time.
I think it's just, as you said, it's a very American... I think it's a very American part of Christmas. Yeah. That's not really in a lot of other places. Like, there's a lot of places that do have snow, but they're not...
But not
like
frosty.
Yeah. If you're in the snow in, like, say, Sweden or the Netherlands or whatever, you're not really wanting to go outside. But in America, it's a lot warmer warmer when it comes to snow. It's not as snowy.
Which leads me on to my next point. At one point, Frosty dies. Hooray! But so first of all, just before we get to Frosty melting, Frosty kidnaps a small child.
Yes.
No, she voluntarily goes with him. He asked if he wanted to come, and she's like,
goes,
as long as I'm back by supper.
Just fucking going to North Pole, lady.
North Pole with a man who's made of snow.
She's a child. What do you expect?
But yes, Frosty melts at one point, and that's when Santa Claus comes and saves the day.
As he should.
Yeah, exactly right. And the whole time they're up there, the girl is freezing to death, essentially. As a plot point, and as I guess we were talking about how Christmassy the movie is and how it doesn't really feel Christmas except for the point where Santa's in it. Why do you think this has become a Christmas classic? What about it feels like... I know Santa's in it right at the end, but it's essentially just a journey to somewhere colder than where they were. There's a kidnapping, there's a magician, there's a rabbit.
Is it because of the fact it's about Frosty the Snowman? Because obviously the song is technically considered a Christmas song.
Do you think...
Is that why?
Maybe. Yeah. Is there something there, like... I know we've explored in a couple of other things that some of these movies have meanings. Like Charlie Brown was against commercialism and was pushing some religious themes. The Grinch was about not so much the presents, but about being together. What's the Christmas message in this one?
I don't see there really being so much.
Because I can't think of one.
I think the problem.
Don't melt.
Wear long sleeve clothes when you're out in the snow.
I think maybe.
Yeah. What's she wearing a skirt for?
All the kids were wearing like shorts and stuff, and I'm pretty sure even one was wearing a t-shirt. Like, what are you doing? You're not in Australia.
I don't know. I think it's the Frosty song. I think it's more because it's around the festive time, and that's why the song is so popular. Because there's some Christmas songs where it talks about like snow and all that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah, snow's a pretty big thing in
like
Christmas.
Jingle Bells, really thinking about it, isn't really a Christmas song.
No, it's not. It was actually originally a Thanksgiving song.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Really?
It's like,
yeah.
And that's the thing. There are some songs that are just, I think it's because they're lumped into the Christmas season that become Christmas.
Well, also, I mean, you can't make a snowman without snow, and snow comes overseas at Christmas time. Like, maybe if we saw it as an Australian song, then it would be around the time.
Frosty the dirt balls.
No, I mean, as in like the time that we get snow. Well, not here, but up in Ballarat does get snow sometimes. But up in the mountains is around July, August. So I mean, if you put it in the context of Australia, then you could actually change the date of that song. Yeah,
100%.
I think just because it's a very festive song, and this is something we've been trying to debate throughout the whole series. And maybe later on we could possibly talk about Christmas movies that are around Christmas but don't have Christmas themes. It'd be interesting to look at.
Could be another season.
There could be another season, because I think that it's not about Christmas, but it's about the holidays. I think that's probably...
It's like a prelude to the holiday season.
Yeah, this is what gets you into the Christmas season, is the holidays and that sort of stuff.
If we were characters from this movie, who would we all be?
I think I'd be Frosty.
I'm okay with that. I guess I'm the magician.
No, I was going to say the rabbit.
I'm okay with the rabbit. I'm definitely okay with the rabbit.
At least you talk to Santa.
I mean, this one's a hard one because I feel like we don't really get to know many of the characters.
There's not much story, is there? There's not a whole lot to it.
It does go for 22 minutes, but the thing is there's not a lot of characters or character development, so it's sort of hard.
Nothing's fleshed out, is it?
Maybe we're all Frosty.
I'm Frosty when he melts.
Amy can be Frosty when she becomes alive.
And
when he says happy birthday.
And Maddie is the teacher. Speaking of Maddie, she's at work at the moment, but if she gives us some kind of recording on her thoughts, we're going to put that right here.
Hello, this is Maddie. I enjoyed that movie. 6 Christmas hats out of 10. Good night.
Cool, thanks, Mads.
I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
I really, really can't.
Luke's
finally my time to shine. Yeah, boy. I'm going to throw it back. All right.
Swish.
So, given the fact that the magician decided to ride the train all the way up to the North Pole, he was underneath that train for a long time. Considering, 1, the high speed a train takes, and 2, the ground around him was snow, the exposure to the cold air, the length of time that he was outside, and the fact that most of the characters were wearing minimal clothing, do you think the magician is a fuckhead?
I thought you were going to go somewhere else. Hopefully you're thinking the way I'm thinking, but...
He's a fuckhead because he now has COVID.
No, I was thinking you were going to reference the fact that, given the fact that Frosty, the kid, and the rabbit were in the ice cream / cake car that you would be breathing, on these cakes and ice creams, do you think
The people
everyone else
eating the
would have been
cakes.
sort of susceptible to COVID because they're in a
I
cold
like it.
climate?
I like that. It's good.
But, yes, the magician is a fuckhead.
He is a fuckhead. All right.
Especially since he could have just jumped on the carriage at the end. He didn't really need
He
to
didn't
jump
go
Yeah, why
underneath.
did he hide
No
underneath?
one's going to get on that carriage.
Dude, he could have bought a ticket.
Yeah.
He could have just.
No, he's got no money. That's why he's at the school performing.
That's true. Right, Christmas hats time. I'm going to go to Amy first. How many Christmas hats out of 10 would you give this movie?
I actually think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 actually,
Yep.
because it wasn't very Christmassy and everything, but I did have a good time watching it,
Nice.
as with everyone else. So
Luke, what would you give it, mate?
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm taking out the nostalgia. Like, looking back on it, it's like, it would be good for kids. It would be getting them into the Christmas season. I don't think it doesn't have any, like, Christmas themes or cheer besides Santa. But Santa can be put in anything now, and it's like, Christmas! You know. But, also, Santa is a bit of a mean ass when he's like to the magician, hey, if you don't keep Frosty alive, I'm just not going to give you presents. It's blackmail.
but also like
It is.
that
It is
sort of
blackmail.
stuff has been happening in every other movie.
Yeah.
Like where the
Santa
naughty
likes to blackmail
ones,
people.
naughty ones don't get presents.
Yeah, Santa's a bit of a con artist, really, when you think about it.
You know, he's just a dick.
Yeah. I'm going to go right in the middle of you two. I'm going to give it a 6.
All right.
I enjoyed it, but not for the correct reasons. I enjoyed making fun of it, and
Yeah.
and a movie that I can kind of look through that lens is all right. I couldn't do that with Charlie Brown. The Grinch was quite good, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it was, I think if I showed this to my 5-year-old niece, she would love it. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good movie.
I think comparing this to Charlie Brown and The Grinch is already a story, so you can't really deviate so much from that.
Would we rank them? I'm going to take a guess. Would we all say that it would go The Grinch, Frosty, Charlie Brown?
Yeah, I would,
Yeah,
I would
Yeah.
do that ranking.
That's the order I think I would give.
Yeah, I think because this was just a delight to watch. Even with people or without people, it would have just been a good time in general,
Yeah.
watching Frosty. Charlie Brown was hard because I think there's too much of a difference between when it was released and now. I think the characters don't work for me personally.
I just think in Charlie Brown, the religious side of it didn't work.
It just
for me.
takes it out, doesn't
And
it?
that is for me personally. I mean, there could be a whole range of people
Yeah,
who
people could love it.
are like religious and all that stuff may enjoy, but I think it's just because we as people are not very religious people, and
Yeah.
that's why we didn't enjoy
But I
it.
can understand a religious aspect, but it doesn't really, cement its ideas for the religion. It doesn't... Charlie Brown, it's it doesn't explain that's the reason why. You have to take a lot of guesswork
You have to, yeah.
into... Which I don't mind,
It's assuming that you're religious in the first place.
Yeah,
It's assuming you understand
that's
what
where
the
I'm
Morning
kind of
Star
like,
is and
no,
stuff.
I would prefer to be like, if Charlie had said that, this is the tradition, this was the old tradition, and then this new tradition is taking away from the old one. That would make sense. But
Yeah.
anyway.
All right. I have a joke. Originally, I'd Googled one, but right before we hit record, my brain put 2 and 2 together, and I thought of a great joke. What does Frosty hate more than naughty children at Christmas?
What does he hate more?
Yeah. Global warming.
Actually, a really good one.
That's real!
There it is. All right.
I will say that thermometer scene, that part of the movie where it brings up the thermometer and it's going up, I'm like, there must be some fucking weird climate shifts if that's happening all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know. But yes. Luke, do you have a question for us?
Christmas question. I did have one, and now it's escaped me.
I can cut this silence. It's fine.
You know what, Amy? You can go with your Christmas fun fact,
Okay,
and I'll think of a question.
My Christmas fun fact for today is that apparently the word merry in Merry Christmas was not always accepted because being merry used to be used to signify being slightly intoxicated. So people didn't really like the use of the word merry.
I would assume that they would use gay, because you're having a gay old time. Because that's like an older saying.
I think that old people say Happy Christmas, right?
Yeah.
My grandma used to say Happy Christmas all the time, and I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
It's Mary. What are you doing? It's wrong.
But that's probably why, because
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess.
That makes sense.
merry
does.
means slightly
We
or
definitely had a
tipsy.
Merry Christmas yesterday.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely a Merry Christmas yesterday.
I have my question now.
Okay.
For the audio listeners, we have the British Bake Off in the background.
Oh my God.
And it's given me an idea. Okay. What do you think is your favorite Christmas sweet? Because you'll have a lot of Christmas treats. What's your favorite Christmas treat?
So I know you can have this all year round, and also I know it's also a Kiwi and Australian thing. I'll say it's both because I'm not starting that debate.
Yeah.
But I really love pavlova. Every Christmas we have, my family, and I feel like a lot of families in Australia and probably New Zealand, we make pavlovas and they're the best.
They are the best.
Also, you should actually check out Maddie and I's pavlova. It's the best.
We'll put it up on our Instagram page. Yeah. There's a photo of it. Maddie and Amy made a pav yesterday, and it was potentially the most extra pavlova I've ever seen in my life, but it was delicious.
The overseas listeners, if you don't know what a pavlova is, look it up online and try and make it.
You're missing out.
Because
Yes,
they're
you
really,
actually
really
are.
good. It's a good substitute for a cake if you don't have one.
I think... All right, if I'm not going to go pav, I would go... See, pav was going to be mine as well.
Yeah.
But the other thing I do enjoy, usually there's snacks out all day, and those chocolate coated peanuts and sultanas that always end up on tables.
They're so good.
Man, I would just sit at the table and just eat them.
Yes.
That was it.
Devour them.
Instead of doing things, I would just sit there talking and be like, all day.
Yeah, you can't have Christmas without those.
Yeah, they're great. What about you, mate?
Oh, now you've taken my pavlova thing. And
it's hard.
Thinking about it now, I should have not really said that. That's
why I was like, I'll go first, because I was like, I feel like everyone in this group is going to say
she took mine
pavlova.
too.
You know what? That's completely fair. This is not a treat, but this is something that we have every Christmas. Is you can't go wrong with a box of favorites.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's
Favourites
not really
is
a treat, but it's Cadbury favorites. It's
miscellaneous chocolates.
Yeah, they're big boxes where you can, for about $10 Australian, where you can get about 50 to 60 little chocolates, and they're all Cadbury, which is fantastic.
He's the best.
They are great presents. They're really good to have. My parents sometimes give gets a box of favourites and then takes the chocolates out and then puts them in our stocking every Christmas. Right. So it's sort of...
That's nice.
Something that I'm very fond of.
If you would like to let us know what your favourite dessert is at Christmas, let us know. You can comment, drop us a line on Instagram or Facebook. That's at Christmas and Chill Podcast. We also have a mailbag, mailbag.christmasandchill@gmail.com. Send us an email. You've only got 4 more chances to do so because there are only 4 more episodes left. Holy crap. Tomorrow we're watching Last Christmas, probably the newest Christmas movie. Well, no, this came out last year, 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
I think this is your last pick, isn't it, Amy?
I think
starring Daenerys Targaryen. Emilia Clarke. So it should be good. Heard good things about the movie. But until then, everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Happy birthday.